Let's go. Let's go. Time for some football. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Premier League Weekly. And you wouldn't believe we were supposed to have seven guys in here today. And I have two guys that pulled out. So we're not going to get to meet our Fulham guy panelists, and and we've already met our Newcastle guy. But there's things that have turned up, and they're not good. Both of them are not going to be able to make it. We do have Dave coming in from Chelsea, but I have no idea where he is at the moment. So at the moment, it's just us three until we were told Andy is coming in. I don't know where these guys are.
Andy's in Germany, man. Come on, man. He's in Germany now, yeah?
He's trying to get Harry Kane on the back of that bike to bring him home.
Oh my god! I didn't want to go there with the Kane jokes, but I mean,
well, to be fair though, it's going to be quite nice having someone that's like supporting a team who's in fear of genuine relegation this season with Andy now. So
yeah, I'd love the fact that Alan Shearer has sent that picture around. Him in the pilots.
Oh, the meme.
That was brilliant. Come on, Harry, it's time to go.
I mean, the thing is, like, before, let me say hi to you guys first, and then we'll talk about all the stuff we need to talk about. So, Neil, how are you? And how was your off season? We got a lot to talk about with your team, bro.
I tell you, listen, working out off season, right? I can't stand off season when there's no football. All right, we've had like the Women's World Cup and little bits in between, but to me, it's not the Premier League. Yeah, so it's just not the same. As soon as May comes and goes, I'm lost for a couple of months. I'm just lost, so lost for a couple of months. So I'm so glad that it's back. We're back. Football's here. Yes, that's how I feel. Is that Dave?
Yes, Dave. How are you, Drew? How was your summer? Having done the treble, Drew. How's your summer?
Joe, it's been a good summer, to be fair.
You're still partying, aren't you? You're still partying.
I think now that City have got Varadol over the line, I think that, yeah, another treble.
Considering Pep's the first one to get a yellow card this season, right?
I'm telling you.
But no, I'm quite impressed by that. But there was only two cards in the game. One's a yellow for Pep, and the other one's a straight red for the defender.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable. Dave, how are you doing, bro?
Right, Dave, mate.
Yeah. How are we doing? We all good?
Yeah, we're all good. How was your summer?
What is there to talk about?
Your holidays, where did you go? Have you been anywhere? I went to Greece in the fires in 40-degree heat, burning up every single day. Spent most of my day in the nice cool sea because of the temperature. So I actually didn't have it half as bad as I meant it to be. But how was your summer, bro?
Yeah, it's all right. A couple of life events. Got married.
Congratulations!
Hey, you know what? I knew there was a reason. I poured myself a bottle of Clermont.
I got one here as well.
I don't know why I'm celebrating, but now I do.
Don't say anything, Andy. I don't say anything. Andy's back from Germany. Oh, hi, Andy. You all right, mate?
I'm wearing black.
Oh, he's in mourning, man. In mourning.
So, Andy, how are you? How was your summer? And if you got any good news to tell us in terms of tennis tournaments or anything like that, what have you been up to?
Just not really. I've been working hard, really. I haven't been on holiday. Looking at going on holiday end of next month. Just working hard. Yeah, I've been playing tennis. We've got a match on next Thursday night. If we win, we're guaranteed promotion. But if the other team win their last game, they'll have a set difference which we can't catch. So we'll probably end up runners up. But yeah, it's not bad.
Excellent. At least it's taken your mind off all the drama with the football and everything.
It's all entertainment now, isn't it? It's not football anymore.
Yeah. We only sing when we're winning. Anyway, listen, guys, we got a lot to cover, man. We got a lot to cover. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Guna Matters. Guys, if you're not following his channel, follow his channel. He's one of the back five shows that we're doing monthly, bi-weekly shows now. We're five of us channels are getting together and talking about the good old Arsenal. So, guys, please follow him, subscribe and support his channel. Cam, what's going on? He said, where were Spurs before Levy stepped in? Well, we're going to come to that, bro. Patience. 18 saying, hey, Guna Matters. Cam saying, hey, Guna Matters. Yes, bro. Hope we don't concede any more crap goals. Last season, that was one area that really hurt us. Yeah. Saliba missed the last 10 games, but even before that, we were leaking goals. Anyway, guys, let's get right into it. We are going to do predictions. We haven't got to talk about results. Thank God for that. Although we're going to talk about the Man City game. Well, Drew's going to talk about the Man City game tonight. I do have to apologize, guys. The Harry, the Fulham fan, couldn't make it tonight. It's too short notice for him. And the Newcastle guy that we had in, we did have him on the show last season, and he can't wait to come back. But he's actually still traveling on the motorway. So I just said to him, don't sweat it, mate. You can do next week. But we've got Dave here from Chelsea, and we can't wait to hear about him. They're the biggest wild card. They're the biggest wild card in the Premier League. Yeah, so we can't wait to hear about him. So, but guys, first news. Let's cover the news first. 3 topics. First one's going to be about Harry Kane. Second one's going to be about Liverpool's resurgence. I probably think they've had the best transfer window in my opinion. And then the third topic is going to be where is Chelsea going to finish, and then we can go into predictions. So, guys, Harry Kane. Who wants to? I think the best way to open up the floor is with Andy. Andy, can you update us on what's going on, what your feelings are, and do you think it's going to be a positive or negative? And we'll all chime in.
Well, I mean, he's in Munich now. I understand he's been there. He's been photographed walking up the steps at their complex. He's probably going to have his medical tomorrow, I guess, or he might have done part of it today.
I was told it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly going to be completed or done in full tomorrow. Look, it's a weird one, but I think we all knew it was coming. I mean, he's wanted to go for a couple of years, but Levy obviously blocked him 2 years ago when City came calling, and that's probably what Kane rused the most, because if he'd have gone to City, he'd have probably have every trophy he wanted by now. But you know, I still don't personally. I understand the logic behind winning trophies, etc., etc. I personally don't understand why he's chosen to go to Bayern Munich. If I had been in his shoes, I would have held out for another year and then had my pick of everybody next season. I understand that there's some thing is that he didn't want to be viewed like Campbell when he walked for free to Arsenal and, you know, got called Judas and was hated by the fans. I think he felt that if he left now, at least Spurs get a large amount of money for him, and he's not going to be put in that category. Most fans are wishing him well. They're gutted. They've turned on Levy again. I don't see what else Levy was supposed to do. I mean, he's driven a great bargain. I mean, to get more than 100 million for a 30-year-old in the last year of his contract, that's pretty amazing. 86 million down and 17, 18 in add-ons. That's a pretty exceptional deal. That's his job. If once Kane's told him he wants to go, Postecoglou's come out and said he knew from the first conversation with Kane that he had a month or two ago that Harry wanted to go. So he wasn't banking on him being there. So and also, to be fair to Levy, he bought Richarlison last year for precisely this scenario. The problem is Richarlison didn't cut it last year in a Spurs shirt, although he didn't start very often. Now he's going to get his chance to step up now, probably play through the middle, be the 9 as he is for Brazil. Now Richarlison's got to step up and show it. I've got my doubts as to how good he can be. I don't doubt his commitment, but you know, they're saying that we're looking at Gift Orban from Ghent, who scored 25 goals in 25 games for Ghent. But obviously, the Belgian league is a completely different kettle of fish to the Premier League. But he's only 21. He's quick. He looks strong, and he's a very good finisher. So it will be interesting to see whether or not. But my guess is he'll come in as backup if we do bring him in. I don't see the point. My own personal view is I think we should go for Ivan Toney in January. That would be the best option I think we can do. Although I doubt
we'll go for him now because he'll be expensive in January. He'd be cheaper now, wouldn't he?
Well, I if we can get him now, I would. I thought that doesn't his ban include a transfer ban?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So I'm not sure we can buy him now. I mean, if we could buy him now, then great. I'm not sure Brentford would sell him now. What's that? Yeah, I mean, it's possible that we've got enough good players to win a cup. You could have said that every year for the last 15 years, and we haven't.
Yeah, but sometimes when this sort of thing happens and a key player goes, a lot of times the other players within that team, they actually step up and they actually play better football. It's possible.
It's going to be interesting to see whether the likes of Richarlison, Son. I expect Son to be made captain. They may choose to give Dyer like a club captain thing, but I don't see Dyer playing regularly this season. So I suspect Son will be made captain. We're probably still going to buy another centre back. We'll probably bring in a forward. I know they want another midfield player. We've now got them funds to do it. We're obviously not going to have the reliance on Kane, but like you say, there's now got to be 4 or 5 guys that step up and hit double figures, which is what Arsenal did last year. What you likes of United and City have done on a regular basis. You don't, obviously City have now got the beast who will probably score another 30, 40 goals this season. But in the past, other teams have just made sure 4 or 5 players get double figures, and that's what Spurs are going to have to find this season. I'm not too disappointed. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, and you know what my thoughts are, I thought it served the player better if he stayed another year. But I've been told by one of my football agency customers, James Rubin, shout out to you because he watches the show. I've been told that he was never going to stay. Even back in January, he had told the front office that he was going. So they all knew. Like you said, the manager in his conference today, the first thing he said, the first question was, I knew that Kane, we was actually making plans in the whole transfer window with him not being here. So It didn't just jump out and bite them in the backside. They all knew what was going on. His relationship with the owner deteriorated and it was untenable. In Kane's eyes, there was no option for it, which is a shame because I thought it would have been a better thing for him to do. It actually suits Spurs fans. This deal does, because A, they get money so they can go and reinvest, and then B, they don't have to play him twice a year. So, and I think on both accounts, any Spurs fan would be happy with the outcome, and it's a shame. But my issue is
they're not. You want to look at the Spurs forums? They're not happy. They're all blaming Levy. They're saying Levy should have held on to him for another year and let him go on a free. Which
you can't hold on to a player who doesn't really want to stay there.
Yeah.
The thing is, holding on to him for another year, all you're going to do then is, let's face it, you were guaranteeing that he'd go to United.
Yeah, exactly.
Your right time to sell him was 2 years ago. If you were going to sell him to City, that would have been your best time to sell him.
But then you wouldn't have had Haaland now.
No, so I'm quite glad we didn't buy him because, quite honestly, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out for City. So, but people are talking about how good a job Levy's done getting so much money for Kane. I mean, that's great, but Levy's now the man that's going to be looking at investing that money, and I'm not going to pull punches on this one. I think that Levy might seem like a master negotiator when he's selling players, but when he's bringing players in, quite frankly, apart from Romero and I forgot his name now, the Uruguayan lad, Bentancur,
Okay.
I think 90% of what Levy's brought in over the past 6-7 years has been absolute chuff. Son aside as well, obviously, but I don't think that Spurs have invested money well.
Well, Levy's. I mean, the question is, do you blame Levy for that? Because ultimately, it's other people that have been making the decisions as to who to buy. The recruitment team. I agree with you that a lot of the recruitment over the last 8 to 10 years has not been great. There have been some gems in there. Kulusevski's been great.
Yeah.
Bentancur's been great. Romero's been great. I think one person you should keep an eye on this season, and I actually think he might well start at Brentford on Sunday, is Papanasa Sarr. He has looked very, very good in pre-season, and he's very young, and I think he could be someone to keep an eye on this season. I think he might break through into the side.
I do worry though where you're going to be spending this money. Like
Well,
genuinely.
I think we've already spent some of it. You see, I think if you look at what we've already spent in this window, we've spent 180 million or something. That does include making.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, I think Levy's secretly been spending money because he knew that Kane was going to go. I mean, I think buying Mickey van der Ven earlier this week for 50 million euros or whatever it was. I don't think Levy would have done that if he didn't know he was getting the Kane money this week.
But you're going to have a massive hole to fill that Son's not going to be able to fill because Son's best form is reliant on Kane's best form.
See, that's not entirely. Hold on, guys. That's not entirely true because there's been this running joke that without Kane, they actually play more of a cohesive type of football without him. And actually, if you go back 2 years ago, when Kane was injury prone, last season he was quite fit. He didn't really have any injury problems. But the season before, when he was in and out of the team with injuries, Spurs, in my opinion, and Andy even said it himself, they actually played better football. Now, that doesn't, whether it equates to winning or not.
It's an isolated period of time, though.
Yeah,
this is now 38 Premier League games.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say we were better without Kane. What I said was we coped well enough without him because they play a slightly different way than when we have Kane in the side. I actually think that they're sweeping it out because Lloris has been captain for years. He's looking at going. Kane's pretty much gone. There's talk of Dyer and possibly even I think Dyer will stay, but I think Højbjerg might go before the end of the window. He's been linked with Atletico. He's basically, this is going to be Postecoglou's team. And I think the way we're going to play, I mean, we pretty much put a second string out against Barcelona, against an almost full-strength Barcelona on Tuesday night. And all right, it's a friendly. You can't hold too much, put too much weight on it. But they played very, very well. Skip played very well. Perisic has been playing very well in pre-season, although, again, he's been linked with a move away. But, I think we're going to have a young, exciting, fresh team. We're going to play very high-intensity football. I still think we haven't fully addressed the defensive issues we've got. We've brought in Van der Ven. I think we need another centre-half. There's talk of Tapsoba. There's talk of Schürrle from Torino. We were originally looking at Kilman, but apparently Postecoglou doesn't fancy him. So I still think there's 2 or 3 more to come in, and I think we'll do all right. We might not trouble the top 4 this season, or top 5, as it looks like it's now going to be, because it looks like the top 5 will make Champions League this season because of the new Champions League ruling. So I think if we can get back into the Europa League, that will be a step in the right direction. And I think we're good enough to do that.
Neil, do you want to chime in on what's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts on Kane going. To be honest, I thought he should go. I do feel for you, Andy, because he's been a great servant to your team and such. But, he's past 29 now, well 30 I should say, and he needs to win something for his own personal gains. Yeah, I mean, being loyal to Tottenham is all good, and I think that he should get a statue. Yeah, but at the same time, he had to go. He needs to win something big, mate, in his mind. And you know, he's
My
a captain.
point is, was Bayern the right move? Because yes, you can win the Bundesliga, but what is that really any kudos to win the Bundesliga when they win it every year? I'm not sure there's much kudos in that. The issue
it's a championship, though, isn't it? It's a
Can he win the
championship, and he's missed out. He's missed out on the Premier League, winning the Premier League. He had the chance.
I don't think this move's
Great
anything to
City.
do with winning a league title. This is this is Champions League.
Yeah,
I was going to get onto that. He's actually in Champions League as well now, which is you know, he obviously wanted to play in that competition, and we must admit Bayern are still going to be one of the favourites to win it.
Well, I'll be honest. If they had Harry Kane up front last year and not Choupo-Moting, then Bayern Munich could have beaten City.
Yeah,
it was. We obviously ran out comfortable winners, but the margins were so fine up until we had control of the tie. If they were clinical, which Choupo-Moting isn't, and Kane is, that would have been a whole different.
Could be something completely
couple
different.
Of games.
Exactly. But do you know what? Right, we knew that he was never going to go to a team in the Premiership. So where else could he go? Spain? Nobody could they afford him? Exactly. So he doesn't have. So someone like Bayern coming in, yeah, he must be thinking, you know, this is probably one of the top teams that can afford me, that I can win something at. Yeah. There's no point leaving Spurs and going to a team that's not going to win anything.
Yeah,
that
that's
makes
true.
no sense.
Even if it's domestic. Yeah,
exactly.
Dave,
it doesn't make any sense.
Dave, what's your thoughts on it?
I think should have held out for another year. Probably gone to another club in the Prem. More than likely, maybe United. Just from the aspect of he's got that goal record there, and we're still talking about Shearer up until this day. It's something that you just can't ignore. Like a record like that and being able to potentially break it. I know people are going to talk about trophies, and I don't know. I don't think Bayern was around. Is going to be as gratifying of a move as maybe if he would have stayed in the Prem this season, then gone to like a United or even who knows, gone to maybe another you know top team. He's going to win titles in Germany, but then what? We're going to view maybe Kane in Germany, maybe not in the kind of who's going to watch the German league. You know, it's going to be kind of like news reports. Let's be honest, that people are just going to watch it. Yeah, but people are just going to look at news reports, aren't they, and be like, Kane scored again, and go, oh, okay, that's good. No, he's doing well over there. Like, you're not going to get the same coverage as you do in the Premier League, and I think that's going to. You know, are people really going to view in and watch Bayern Munich, especially when their nearest competitor has just lost their best player in Bellingham as well? So, if anything, if he doesn't win it this year, I mean, what does that say?
Yeah, it's just unfortunate if it doesn't. I mean, I hope he does. I want him to win something. It's Harry Kane, for Christ's sake. You know, Zingham captain. You want him to go. And I wasn't Lineker's biggest fan, but when he left, and he's a Leicester boy, regardless. But when he went to Barcelona, I just wanted him to do well. I want British players to do well when they go abroad because we have so much of an influx of international players, but we don't have enough of the Jude Bellinghams going on there.
We don't export that many.
So I think it's good news when we see something like that. I was going to go to Drew, but he's gone off. So let's move on to the next subject. So let's start this off with Neil. Neil, they are talking about every single team in the transfer window except for Liverpool. And quite frankly, I think Liverpool have had the best window. I mean, I did say that when they signed, when they agreed the offer for Caicedo, but because that deal's not being done, then I might have to backtrack on that. But could you give us some light on what the hell is going? Oh, Chelsea! Everyone's pointing down to Dave.
I'm pointing down at Dave. I'm pointing down at Dave.
What the hell is going on over there? And firstly, are you happy with the transfer business you've done? Do you think you're going to challenge for the title? Because I think you're the dark horse. And
Hold on. Who are you talking? You talking to me or Dave now?
I'm talking to you. Yeah, this
Okay,
is the
cool.
Liverpool. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, will we challenge for the top four? Yes. But we still need at least one defending midfielder. Yeah, defensive midfielder. That's what we definitely want, and that's what we were looking at when we were looking at Lavia, and that's what we were looking at when we tried to hijack Caicedo. Yeah, the way things are going in the news at the moment, if you believe what's being said, Chelsea are going to get both players. Yeah, so it's the same old thing that I moan about. I know we've got the money, but we mess about, and we've also proved in the past 2 seasons that if there's a player that we want, we just go and get them. There's no fanfare, there's no news about it and then you think, oh, Liverpool just bought this player, and then all of a sudden this season we've decided to mess about with Lavia and Caicedo.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question that Andy's going to ask you, because I can see Andy smiling down there. So tell me something. You said you didn't have 120 million to sign Bellingham, but yet you've got 111 to sign Caicedo.
Right. Okay. So some of that money did. You know, the same way you're asking, I was asking the same thing and doing the same thing as well, right? I know that some of that money came from the sale of Henderson and Fabinho. Yes, that's that's what 53 million.
Yeah. You didn't have it at the beginning of the window, but you've got it now.
We've got it now, so that's where that money's come from. But it's still not like Liverpool when you look at Liverpool season in, season out. If we spend anywhere close to that money, that's the only player that we get. You don't see us get anybody else. Yeah, and we've had quite a few players go out, and a lot of them, 3 or 4 of them, actually gone out on frees. Yeah, so where that money come from, I know some of it is from the sale of Hendo and Fab, but yeah, that's kind of messed us up now, because we were messing about with Lavia. What 4 million? All we had to do is just pay the additional 4 million and he'd be our player. Yeah, but we're trying to play the big boys now when it comes to spending money, and then now Chelsea's coming in, nick them under our nose. Well, Caicedo was never ours anyway.
I don't think that's what's happened. As I understand it, Brighton accepted your £111 million bid, which blew Chelsea out of the water. But Caicedo himself has turned around and said he doesn't want to go to Liverpool.
That's because Chelsea had been courting him for God knows how long. And do you know what? I don't blame him. If a club shows a lot of interest and they've had clearly lots of conversations, and you've got in your head that I'm going to go, and then just when you think you're going to go, another team comes swooping in. It doesn't matter who the team is. Another team comes swooping in. You're kind of going to think, oh well, I was looking forward to going to Chelsea. So the fact that he's now turned around and spoke out his feelings, I don't blame him. I do not blame him. If it was a situation where Liverpool and Chelsea were both talking to him and he wasn't sure, and we came with a bigger deal and we were courting him as long as Chelsea would, I say fair enough. But to be honest, Chelsea they've been doing the groundwork for quite a while now. You know, we just tried
before Arsenal put in that 70 million bid in January, Chelsea came in with a 55 million bid, which was rejected. So
I mean, we there was mention of us looking at him, but then that was just a mention, and we didn't do anything, and nobody knew anything until we had put that 111 million bid in last night.
It's just bizarre. Really? Historically, you would think that a player would choose Liverpool over Chelsea.
Yeah, historically. I know.
So it's a bit of a strange one. But
yes and no.
You've got the money, got the money, and they've got a young manager. I thought the chance to play with McAllister would persuade Caicedo, but maybe they didn't get on as well as we think. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you got to look at what Poch is doing at Chelsea. Clearly, they've had a big clear out of players that they didn't really need or want. You know, Poch is now building his own team. Sorry, Dave, you should be saying this. Poch is now building his own team, and unfortunately, fortunately for those guys, they need midfielders. We need midfielders as well. We need defending midfielders, and the 2 best midfielders with Premier League experience who have been doing okay so far is Lavia and Caicedo.
Yeah, I think the question for me is, and the reason why we're asking this question, will Liverpool get back into the top 4, is because number one, they had the strongest end to last season, along with Man City, and they've reinforced the biggest problem they've had for 10 years at that club, which is their midfield. I mean, literally,
it's not complete yet. It's not complete yet. We still need.
yeah,
We still need.
but the fact is, you're
replacement.
doing it. I mean, it's like when Arteta came in and Arsenal had not addressed that spine for 15 years since Wenger literally had gone, and the Invincibles won a title. Our centre backs and defensive midfielders, we just neglected the whole position for a decade. And as soon as Arteta came in, all he did was just bang. Thomas Partey, Gabriel, Saliba, Ramsdale. He just shot the spine right through the middle, and all of a sudden they're playing. So I think my question is, Klopp has now addressed it. He's done it.
He hasn't. Yeah, but he hasn't completed doing it, because what you've also got to look at is that Trent is now going to have this floating defender / midfield type role. Yeah, and we know Trent can't defend, so we need a defensive midfielder. If we get a decent defensive midfielder, then yeah, we're going to do really well this season, and we should be in the top 4. But the window's still open, and we're still looking at getting a player, because obviously it looked well. Casido's definitely going to go to Chelsea. We know that, right? Yeah. And it looks like Lavia's going to go there as well. So we've now got to go back into hunt and get a decent midfielder before the window shuts. And that's not long till now.
So that's a yes from you, and that's a yes from me as well. I think Liverpool, because look, there's Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, and really Newcastle. That's who's fighting for that top 4 space. Because I do think Man United will get in there by hook or by crook. I think they're going to be much better this season. But the question is out of all the other teams, is Liverpool going to be fighting their way back in? The dark horse though is Chelsea. So I'm coming over to you, Dave. Dave, although the question is, will Liverpool get back in the top 4? The question really is Chelsea going to stop them? Because if this works out, and we have to remember, I mean, I've asked tons of Chelsea fans, pick your first 11, and they can't do it. And on top of that, they had the managers who had no idea what they were doing. But we're talking about Pooch here, and I felt he should have gone back to Tottenham. But look, he's a quality manager who's never had the backing in his career, and now he's got it. He's got the money. He's got the backing. My issue is they're out getting Casado, and apparently they've been reprimanded as well for FF. So I don't really understand what's going on there. So could you first of all let us know whether you think it's Chelsea that's going to be the one to get in the top 4 and not Liverpool, and then what's going on with the Casado bid in regards to all the charges that they're facing now?
I think, to answer your first question, top 4. I think with Liverpool, like, the midfield's obviously going to be important for them, but I also think, like, defensively, it's quite. They were a lot more shakier at the back than previous years. So I think that needs to be addressed as well. They've obviously got slightly younger with their midfield. It's going to be tight. I think United. I think you've got City and Arsenal that look to be kind of there or thereabouts, challenging for the title. I think if Liverpool did get Casado, I would put Liverpool kind of as dark horses for the title. In terms of actually challenging. Well, not dark horse, but challenging for the title as well. That would put them right up there. I think our most important signing was the manager. To be honest with you, getting some actual structure in place, and actually having a complete. What I would say is just after the whole Potter stuff and playing, it just didn't work out, and I think they've obviously courted Potter at the start, and now it hasn't worked out. So now we've got a manager with a pre-season who's kind of knows how to develop players. It's just I'm a bit unsure of Chelsea. I'm a bit unsure of us at the moment.
I mean, it's hard. You spent 52 million on Lukaku. He's out for 4 months, and now you're in the market for a striker to cover him.
I mean, it's going to be. I think we're kind of in a similar position. Maybe again a bit more, have a bit more advantageous kind of options and stuff. But kind of like Chelsea and Tottenham are very similar in terms of you don't know what you're going to get. I think a lot of the other teams you kind of understand how they're going to play or the skill sets that they have. I think Chelsea and Tottenham are a bit like don't know what they're going to do. Obviously with Ange, and his style of play and what he wants to do, how's that going to translate to the Premier League? And I think with Chelsea, how are we going to be coached, and are these players now going to show the potential that we've paid for him? Is Enzo going to step up? Is Mudryk going to look like the player that we've shed out a lot of money for? If we get Casado and Lavia, fantastic. We do need midfielders as well, though. So we've lost a lot, so I think if we can just get them to, that'll be.
I think you guys. Unfortunately, you guys have shifted a lot of players. And you've shifted quite a few key players as well. So
I don't know about key.
I don't think that you guys will be top 4 this season, because I think the new players that you're bringing in, etc., it's going to take about a season to bed in. I think next season you lot are going to be worries for everybody else.
I think it might take a year to gel. Remember, we've just finished 12th. It's mad to say it, but we've just come off of finishing 12th. Are we going to have a season like that again? Who knows? We're not in any competitions anymore. We're only playing, once a week now. So that's going to help. That's going to be something that we're not going to have to deal with. But yeah, I'm in a kind of a world of a bit slightly pessimistic, I would say. I don't know what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go. Jackson looks good. I mean, if you're looking at your fantasy teams, I'd consider having Jackson in there.
So because I haven't had you on in a while, I don't know when I'm going to get you next. Let's guys, I'm just going to give 2 or 3 minutes over to Dave. So I'm going to give him some quick fire questions, and he's going to give me some quick fire answers. So where will you finish?
5th.
Any young talent to break through?
Zach Sturge.
Colwell will be a false. I think Colwell will be
Levy Colwell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Left-footed centre back. Which player needs to move on? Lukaku. I think we're all thinking Lukaku.
Yeah, I mean that's the obvious one. I mean,
hasn't he moved on? Hasn't he already moved on?
Hey, do what Arsenal do. What Arsenal do? Cancel the contract.
he's doing laps. Right, Lukaku's doing laps of the training ground every day. Probably. I mean, I don't. Yeah, obviously he's the obvious one that needs to move on, and then it's a weird. It's Kepa for me. Lukaku's the obvious one. I would say move Kepa, and I don't rate him at all. And I think we've got Sanchez, but we need a proper number 1. I mean, I'm quite shocked that we didn't get Raya, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah. Happy with your manager?
Yeah, very, very happy, because it just brings a lot more organisation, a lot more someone that's been there, done it, and again with what our ownership are trying to do. It's somebody that can actually, and obviously I presume that a lot of people have heard the overlap interview with Dele Alli. It seems like he's going to have a good relationship with players, and that's the kind of manager we need to nurture talent. So, yeah, happy, definitely.
I think I'm going to ask the other guys what their opinions is on Chelsea in a minute, but I just want to give my opinion. I'm a big Pooch fan. I liked what he was doing at Spurs. I don't think he was given enough respect and backing by the owners. The fans loved him. They could really see what he was doing, but they could also see the limitations that he was given to run the team. My biggest problem with Chelsea is their lack of being an Arsenal fan. Academy is huge for us, and looking at Chelsea, their academy players just go by the wayside. And I think now you've got Pooch there, the biggest change and what you should be looking forward to the most is bringing through your academy players.
They've got a good set. They've got a good set of academy players.
Pooch doesn't turn a blind eye to those things.
Yeah, they've got a good set.
It's going to be difficult, to kind of put some questions almost out there. Or just to give the state of play, really. One is ownership. Is Poch going to be able to do what he wants to do, or are ownership going to come in and just say, we're giving you this player, you develop him? So again, you're saying that he's got backing, but is it the real backing that he wants? Is kind of question number 1. Number 2 is how ruthless are we going to be in terms of? I think they're going to be a lot more lenient. Obviously, we've already seen it anyway than what Roman was like, but you know, how are the fans, if things don't go the way that we want, how are the fans going to react to someone like Poch if things don't go right? And I also think, again, it's a case of, this is a rebound year for us, really. The objective, the target should be top 4. Will we get it? I'm not sure. And trying to bring through young players now, like obviously we've got Lewis Baker, like him as well. But I don't think we'll neglect the young players. I just don't know whether they'll be at the class that we want. Obviously, we've got Maatsen as well, who was previously at Burnley. Whether he plays a part in the squad, not too sure. He probably will. I imagine that he'll get some game times, but now we've got less games, you know, so that's less opportunity for these players. Unless we go far in cup runs now, you know, is it going to be are we going to have enough games for those young players to showcase themselves? So who knows?
Okay, so Drew, where is your hearts? And I know you're standing at the top of the mountain, looking down at everybody else, and so it doesn't really concern you. But what's your thoughts? First of all, do you think Liverpool are going to make a resurgence move, and where do you think Chelsea would finish?
So Liverpool, I had finishing second or third. If they managed to get Caicedo over the line, they'd have been second, pushing for the title. Obviously, that's not going to happen because he's being poorly advised, in my opinion, and he's going to take this Chelsea contract. I'm sorry, I've got to call it like I think it is. He's going to go to a club, and it's no disrespect to Chelsea. It's definitely no disrespect to Pochettino. But Todd Boehly is literally a kid with a Crayola set and fantasy football in front of him. I mean, I don't think it matters who the manager is going to be at Chelsea for quite some time. It's going to be who does Todd Boehly fancy bringing in today. Yeah. So I've got a lot of serious reservations with the way Chelsea run. I think it's a massive mistake.
I think that's their intangible, isn't it? He decided he was going to get Potter, which was his guy. When really, look, he should have stuck with Tuchel, but I mean that's a story for another day. But this is he's making the decisions.
Do you not think though with Boehly that he was exactly like that in January, where he went around with a kid like the Corolla set, buying everyone in sight? But it seems to be a bit more measured and probably taking a bit more advice this summer with the targets like Jackson. Keep signing Colwill. I reckon that Pochettino probably had a lot to do with keeping Colwill because he was linked with the move away. But he's a Pochettino type player, and I know he knows.
What's happened is someone's actually explained to him the shit that Man City could be in over financial fair play. And he's gone, so I can't just do what I want anymore financially.
No, I think,
although he's obviously getting a backhander from the PIF as well. So,
but it just seems a bit more measured in the summer window than it was in January.
Yeah. And just to kind of chime in on that slightly, I think Andy, you're completely correct. I feel like we went from January to just splashing the cash to now kind of haggling over, 5-10 mil. So for me, it's just a case of actually, is it measured now, or is it kind of going the completely opposite way of going, all right, now we're haggling kind of Levy style with clubs, which now allows...
The thing is, though, has January
I think Bowley's learnt his lesson. I think Bowley's learnt his lesson from when he first
has January not already done the damage, though, for the next probably 2 to 3 transfer windows? You've spent so much in those couple of windows, you're hamstrung.
At the beginning of the window.
So I didn't catch any of that. There's too many people talking. Sorry. What was that?
I said I think they've probably addressed some of the damage they did in January by selling all the people at the beginning of the summer window.
Yeah, they 100%. Haven't recouped anywhere near the kind of money that they've spent, though.
Yeah, but
I mean, they actually sold Havertz for less than what overall they paid out on him.
I mean, you have to remember that it's going to be like basically it's pro rata because it's through the course of the salary. So it's not like it's going to be, in terms of FFP, Enzo's going to be what 7-year contract. That's going to be like what basically 20 mil a year. So it's not going to be like
he's found a way around it.
I know, but
Yeah.
if you do that with a lot of signings, which is the American way of bringing people in, you spread the contract out, you spread the payments out, means that you don't get hit by cap spaces and things like that. But eventually, you're going to max out on what you can actually feasibly bring into the club on a year-to-year basis.
Yeah, but look
Yeah.
at the amount of players that they'll have.
No, but that's the whole. You know,
The
when
thing is,
people
they will
talking
have a lot
about-
of players, but
Yeah.
will they have a good team?
Well, that's the whole point, and that's why, you know, when people go, "Oh, this needs to stop," and they found a loophole and stuff like that. My argument was, if we get the wrong players in, then we're stuck with 7-year contracts.
Yeah,
I remember when having Winston Bogart sat on the bench for God knows how long, you know, collecting money that really we didn't need to, you know, we couldn't really afford to keep him on, you know. But if we sign these players on 7-year contracts for, you know, 150, 200, you know, 200,000 a week, we're stuck with them. So that's the give and take of it. But yeah, it sounds like a great loophole. Or you get somebody who becomes injury prone, or you get somebody that isn't as expected or doesn't develop the right way, or another manager comes in doesn't like them. Now what you do? So
And
there's give
Ndombele,
and take of that. Pardon,
look
sorry?
at Ndombele at Tottenham, 60 million record signing. Literally right now, we're getting offers for 8 million euros from like Galatasaray for Ndombele. 8 million. I mean, Spurs want 20 plus, so they're not going to get it. But that's what happens. You bring someone in on a 6-year contract, 200 grand a week. He's just sitting there collecting his wages, going out on loan here and there, running down his contracts, just saying thank you for the money. Basically, you can't get rid of him because no one can afford the wages. It's a big problem.
But it's the risk that clubs
Yeah,
take
it is,
at the
it
end of
is.
the day. If you're gonna, so yeah.
So as everybody, because I was going to come into Andy as well, but Andy, you've got anything more to add to that? I know you just did, so I just thought if there's anything you needed to add more on that.
No, I mean just generally, if you put up where will Chelsea finish? I think they'll be competing for 5th. I think City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and United will be top 4, and then I think Chelsea, Newcastle, maybe Villa. I've got a lot of time for them. But you know, I think they'll be competing. So I hesitate to say Spurs without Kane. I think it will be a struggle for us to get into that top 4 or 5. I think we'll have a go, probably late season, but you know, I think Chelsea will be competing for that 5th spot. That's what I think.
Okay, so guys, let's move on to we've passed all the questions and the biggest topics that we needed to address. So right now we'll preview the weekend's football. We're going to start with Manchester City. I'm going to put you lot all down for a win.
That was
I've just said
3-0.
Tony.
It was the score's wrong. It was
Oh, yeah.
3-0.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to point it out.
I wasn't watching the end of it, guys. I wasn't watching the end of it. I actually predicted it to be 3-0, funny enough. That's why I was about to say I got the score wrong on the first go.
Yeah.
But is there anybody else that thought that it wasn't going to be a Man City win?
Silence.
Yeah.
What
so-
you told me we'd go.
Obviously, Mrs. Ward was quite hopeful,
Yeah.
but that is now 50 goals to 1 in our last
yeah,
14
she's a
games against
Burnley
Burnley.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
wow. Well, how did I forget that? So I'm just filling out my table here because I am recording you lot for the whole season in regards to the scores. I've got a massive table up. I will send you the Excel file if you need me to, but I haven't finished it yet. So I mean, how did the game go, Drew? How did the game go? Did it go as you expected?
Do you know what? That's as good a first game of the season you could expect against a newly promoted team. I'd say.
Champions as well. Champions versus champions.
Yeah, unduly troubled for most of the game. A couple of the new Burnley signings actually look quite electrifying. Actually, a lot of pace, a lot of power in there.
Who's the Italian guy? I can't remember his name now. Young black.
They pressed really high, didn't they, Burnley? They were right in faces. They just didn't have the quality to take advantage of the few chances that they had.
So
But
out of
City were in control.
they brought 9 people in the summer, didn't they? And out of the 9 signings, 6 of them started. And the worst players on the Burnley team, to be fair, were ones who were there last year. So ones that have been playing together for a couple of seasons now were their worst performers.
So I want to ask you a question here. So do you think, are we trying to say, because the old formula was, these were the guys that got us up, I'm going to stick with them. But Nottingham Forest last year, by bringing in 21 players, I still can't believe that worked. I really can't. Are Nottingham Forest now setting a trend for teams to just say, we're in the Premier League now, we need a different type of clientele?
It's kind of 1 for 1, isn't it?
Well, Fulham did that as well one season, didn't they?
I think the differences with Burnley, they had a lot of players come off their books this summer, players that got relegated with them when they went down. A lot of players' contracts are out, they've not renewed them. So for them, it's a case of, right, we now need to add squad depth. A lot of the players they're bringing in weren't initially seen as coming straight into the first team because they are generally younger players. It just happens they've got a massive glut of injuries going around as well at the moment. So a lot of the young guys that they've brought in to develop have ended up starting against City, and they acquitted themselves well for 60 minutes. But obviously, it takes 3 moments against City to look silly.
You mean 3 moments? 2 moments against Haaland, yeah.
How's your missus tonight? Is she all right?
She went to bed and just swore at me. So
yeah.
Someone's sleeping on the sofa tonight.
Yeah, I was about to say you need to stay on the couch for at least another couple of hours.
I'm fine with that because she's taking the dog into the bed with her, so I don't have to deal with his ass and his. So I'm good, you know.
So I mean, for me, guys, I'm going to be quick on that one so we can get to Arsenal, Nottingham Forest. But for me on that one is I was a bit perplexed because a lot of people and experts and pundits have got Burnley to stay up this season because they were so good last season. I've actually got them to go down. Where are you with that, Neil?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I mean, watching the game today, I saw bits that said to me that they might just about escape. But to be honest, I've got to see them for the next sort of 5 or 6 games because we're going to see their form is either going to stay the same, get worse, or it's just going to get better. So
what about you, Andy?
I think Burnley could stay up. I think by watching them tonight, I think they're going to have an intense style of play, and I think Company will have them getting enough points at home. I mean, you can't judge them playing Manchester City. I mean, Manchester City beat everyone. So I mean, I think I saw enough there tonight. What I wonder is who's going to score their goals in the Premier League. That's the only thing that I worry about. But you know, I think Burnley will. I think it'll be tight, but I think Burnley will just survive because I believe Sheffield United and Luton. Although I love Luton, obviously, Sheffield United, I think will go down. I think Luton are going to struggle, given that their best signing has been Ross Barkley, or their most well-known signing is Ross Barkley.
How did that happen?
I mean, so I think Luton will do all right. I think they'll get the odd shock result here and there, and they'll be quite difficult to play at home. But I think that both Luton and Sheffield United, just because of the quality in the squad, will struggle. And I think Wolves are going to struggle as well because so many players have left and they can't afford to bring anyone in. So
same with West Ham.
Luton and Sheffield United for me going down.
This is the thing. I think Burnley are definitely better than Wolves. They're definitely better than Sheffield United. They're definitely better than Luton. So there's 3 teams instantly. I think Fulham are going to fall back into the relegation fight this year. Palace, they are my tip to go down as 3rd bottom this year.
Wow.
So.
Oh wow! I mean, with me, if you take Mitrovic away from Fulham, they're dead meat. They're dead. They're dead food. They're dead. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with what Drew said in terms of Fulham could get dragged down without Mitrovic and Willian as well. Willian done all right with them after Jam when he come as well. So, but then I've just heard that I think they're getting Adama, aren't they? Adama Traore's going to go.
They rejected the Saudi Arabian club Al Khalid, who seems to be trying to buy everybody these days. They offered 25 million for Mitrovic, and Fulham rejected it.
Yeah, I would as well. 100%. Like, that's how many goals. Bearing in mind, remember, like, didn't he miss like 7 games as well? And he still scored how many goals?
Yeah,
He put in 19 Premier League goals, wasn't
it? Yeah, something crazy
like
that.
I mean, in terms of modern football, that surely puts him at 55, 60 million. So, and if you're going to shop him at a premium to another country, then all right, I'll take 80. To a country that's spending money that crazy.
Paying for everyone else.
Drew's not easy.
Yeah.
So guys, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. Obviously, I'm going for Arsenal on that one. Reasons being, we torched them 5-0 there last year, and actually Forest had the worst away record in the Premier League last season. I think they only had here this guy is 19 games, 1 win, 5 draws, and just 11 goals in 19 games. So look, really? Steve Cooper, Steve Cooper did well to keep them up, but I think even without Gabriel Jesus injured, which doesn't mean nothing to him because apparently, with Nketiah and everyone in there, we don't miss him. So yeah, it's Arsenal easily for me on this one. Anybody else? Neil, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with you. I can't see Forest winning this one. I can't at all. Do you want us to give actual scores as well? Predicted?
No,
scores?
I don't care about the scores because my sheet just tells me whether it's win, draw, or loss. What about you, Andy?
Arsenal win. Comfortable. I could see 3 or 4.
Yeah. What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I think Forest are terrible still. They're not going to be involved in relegation battle this year, but they're going to get absolutely hammered when they go to a top 4 club. So they're losing. Arsenal to win.
And what about you, Dave?
Yeah, probably 3-0 Arsenal. I mean, it could be 5, but it depends if Havertz is playing up front. He's not.
Right, so guys, this is it's a strange one for me because based on what I've seen in regards to the Bournemouth manager, his teams normally press really high up the pitch, and I thought they really improved towards on the back end of last season. It's a little bit unfair for me to judge West Ham because, I mean, who on earth have they brought in? They've lost their talisman and their captain, and right now they're a sinking ship. I mean, talk to any of your West Ham friends, they're not happy. I mean, they're literally bone dry in the transfer market.
I can't find any West Ham friends right now.
Yeah, I'm actually going for a draw in this one.
Mexican.
Yeah.
They're Alvarez and on the verge of Ward-Prowse and possibly Maguire, but there seems to be some doubts about the Maguire deal, but that they're probably going to get it, and Ward-Prowse as well.
The thing is that it looks like it's a payment between United and Maguire, but it looks to be the stumbling block.
Yeah.
So once that's sorted, I still actually think that even without Rice, I think West Ham are better than most of the other teams down there. So I think they'll beat Bournemouth.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I've gone for Bournemouth on that one, by the way, guys.
I'm going for a draw.
The thing about Bournemouth, they've just lost Gary O'Neill. He's got the Wolves, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So who's the new manager at Bournemouth?
I just said it's what's his name? The Spanish guy.
Is it Inaki something?
Velanacano?
I can't say his first name.
Rayo. Rayo is his first name.
Rayo Vallecano. That's a Spanish name, isn't it?
Is that? Hold on a second. Let's have a look.
I think he was the manager at Vallecano. I think he's Basque. I think he used to play for Bilbao.
Yes.
So it's a bit difficult one having a brand new manager going in this week.
Mm-hmm. It's Anadoni Oriola.
Oh, that's okay.
It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah. So and he comes he's from the Bielsa discipline camp. So his teams are high pressing, high discipline. I think I've gone for a Bournemouth win here.
I think it's going to be a draw.
Okay.
Both teams are in a little disarray at the moment. It's too early for either of them to sort of like state their claim.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, to be honest, it could go either way. I think I'd be leaning just home advantage. I'd probably edge towards Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's what I've done. What about you, Drew?
I'm taking West Ham for an away win.
Good, good. Dave?
Score draw.
Okay, it's a draw on that one. So we move now to Brighton Luton. What's your thoughts on that one, Neil?
Brighton every day, mate. Brighton every day. I don't think I think that Luton are going to be one of the teams that are actually going to struggle this season, and I just can't see them beating teams of the quality of Brighton. Even though Brighton have lost a couple of players now, I just can't see Luton doing it. They'll probably like make me eat my words now, and they'll probably win like 3-0. But I just can't see them doing it.
So you're going for
I'll go for a Brighton win.
Brighton win. Okay. What about you, Drew?
I mean, I should back Luton. It's my hometown's first game in the Premiership since '92. But let's face it, if it's not at the Kennel, they're not getting points off anyone.
That's because you haven't got the Steen brothers playing, mate.
Oh boy,
No, it's going to be Brighton, and even without some of the players that Brighton have lost, I think Brighton have got enough to go win by 3. To be honest.
Okay. For me, guys, yeah, I think I was listening to Rob. Somebody's mic has gone crazy over there. Hold on. Let's see if I can.
Just mute everyone for now.
That's what I'm doing now. Yeah. I think it's Dave's mic, to be honest. Yeah, it's Dave's mic. Okay, let me open up Drew and yeah, Dave, your mic is playing up a little bit. I was listening to the Luton.
I'll leave them back.
All right, okay. I was listening to Rob Edwards on BBC, and he was talking about how his team will have to adapt quickly. But yeah, I'm like you lot. They're going to score and play really well at home, and I just didn't think they're going to do Nottingham Forest and just get battered on the road. So I'm going 2-0 Brighton on that one. What's your thoughts on that one, Andy?
Yeah, I believe it will be, again, obviously I want Luton, but I can see Brighton winning this one, home advantage.
Yeah, Dave, you sound a bit better.
Premier League experience, I think that Brighton will win this one.
Excellent. What about you, Dave?
Brighton win.
Excellent, guys. Excellent. So we go to Everton Fulham, which is probably going to be the most boring game of the week, if I'm honest.
It's probably going to be the best game in the week because they're both crap teams. They're both crap
bad
teams. They're probably going to play well, and they'll look good against one another.
Look, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Everton's whole season is going to depend on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, there's no other way. I mean, with his injury record, it's just going to put them straight back into problems again. And Mitrovic has defined Chelsea to relegation, in my opinion. So I don't really know where to go on this one. I think I'm going to go draw here. What about you? Yeah, it's a draw.
You said Chelsea.
No, I'm going to go draw. I'm going to go draw. Sorry about the Chelsea. Neil?
To be honest, I think this is going to be another draw. 1-1, basically. I just can't see it being an exciting game.
Andy?
Yeah, it's another one of those where it just depends who's had the best, like got their players up to speed better in pre-season. But
yeah,
I think I'm going to be inclined to edge for an away win here for Fulham.
Ooh. Yeah. And the thing is, because we were told they're going to play Mitrovic whether he likes it or not, and he tormented them last season. Drew, what about you?
I mean, it's got to be the worst game of the weekend, quite honestly. If there's a winner, I think it would be Fulham 1-0, but I can see it as a 0-0 draw.
Apollo, can we just talk about the exciting games, because everyone just seems disinterested in teams like Everton and Fulham.
I've still got to put them. Yeah,
I know.
I've still got to put them on there. Yeah, Drew. So I'm giving you a Fulham win on that one. What about you, Dave?
It could be a Dyche masterclass, you know. Could be a get the fans on side, and they pull a good, you know, just play well first game of the season. I'll go Everton. I'll be a bit different.
Okay, but for the record, Everton only saves that for when they play Arsenal at Goodison Park. We just can't beat them there.
So no, it gets worse.
Liverpool that Lexi can't go to now.
Huh?
There's certain parts of Liverpool that Lexi can't visit now.
Yeah, definitely.
So guys, this is Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. I'm going with Crystal Palace, and the reason why I'm doing that is because how on earth do you get promoted to the Premier League and then you sell all your best players? I mean, that is just. But someone needs to be shot over there. They sold their best players. I don't even know what's going on. So yeah, I'm going for Palace.
Apollo, getting to the Premier League was all they needed to do to get those parachute payments. They now got the parachute payments, and they're just coasting now. They know they're going to go down. Yeah, they're just going to make. They're just going to party until they go down. That's all they're going to do.
We said that about them last time.
Plan.
Yeah, we said that about them last time, and they ended up staying in the league for 3 years.
Exactly.
Neil, what do you think is going to happen with this one?
Palace 2-1.
Andy?
I'll go draw.
Ooh, Andy with a bit of sauce tonight. What about you, Drew?
So, because of what we've pointed out here about Sheffield United, they've literally sold everyone or not made people permanent signings. Mix that in with the fact that you've got two very talented young players at Palace who are looking to get out in Elise and Eze. They're going to be putting on an audition, especially with the link to City for one of those young lads. I think Palace are going to win 3-0.
Okay. I mean, the thing is with me on this one, Dave, is Sheffield United were really powerful in the Championship. They were well organised. They were tight. They had the quality. Why would you just get rid of that in the Premier League? I don't get it.
Their best players were loan players, though.
They sold Berger, because Berger played tonight, didn't he, for Burnley?
Yeah.
And also Ndiaye went back for 20 million or whatever, but they've not brought in any players of any good top quality, have they? Really?
Well, I genuinely thought they'd make a move to
take
McTee for another season, to be honest, but City offered them the chance and they didn't want to take it. So
it's bizarre, but they're just going to panic buy at some point. You know, probably after this weekend. I'm going to go Palace win, and then if it's a really bad performance, they're just going to go panicking, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, they are.
I think they've resigned. They're going to try and do the best they can without really spending very much, and do what maybe Norwich did for a few seasons and try and do the old yo-yo effect.
Yeah, but I think they're still going to panic buy of some sorts. Maybe not grossly, but I think they'll try and bring in 2-3 names to more so appease fans than actual kind of bring people in that they think are going to be.
Yeah, the last thing they're going to want is people stoning.
If they want to panic buy, we've got a few they can have off us.
So have we. We got 5 we need to get rid of. So, guys, I think this is the game of the week for me is Chelsea versus Liverpool, but this is close to the game of the week because both of these teams have admirations to get into the top 4 next season. Newcastle, their biggest problem is the expectations. They both have expectations, but Newcastle's bigger. And everyone seems to be getting excited about Aston Villa right now because of what Unai Emery has been able to do in charge. So, guys, I am going to go against the grain on this one, and I'm going for a shock Aston Villa away win. That's going to be a shocker for me, guys. Neil,
I'm going to put my Bertrand hat on. Yeah, if St. Maximin was still there, I would have gone for a Newcastle win, definitely. But he's not. So no, I got to admit that Unai Emery is one of the managers at this moment in time, and even last season, that had the top 6 teams kind of looking over their shoulder going, flipping out, Aston Villa. And I think that he's just going to carry on from where he left off last season. So this game, I think Newcastle will shade it 1-0, but you're going to see what Villa are made of in this game.
Andy.
By losing 1-0.
No, the way they play, the way they keep the ball, the way they're going to attack, we'll
So
see
means
that. It's
Andy's
going to
gone
be
for Newcastle then.
Yeah.
Andy?
I think I'm going to sit on the fence this one. I've got a lot of time for Emery, and I think he's a very well organised coach, and he knows how to get the best out of his players. But Newcastle are very difficult to beat at St James's Park. They don't lose many there. So I could see this one being a score draw, 1-1.
1-1. Good.
Yeah,
what
same
about
for
you?
me.
Same for Dave.
Score draw.
What about you, Drew?
Joe, this is probably the hardest game of the weekend to give a proper prediction for.
Yeah, I know.
I think with Isak and with Guimaraes, I think Newcastle just have a little bit too much. Although they're probably the two best defences outside of the top three in the Premiership. So it could be a boring draw, but I think Newcastle will nick it 1-0.
So have I got you down there for that? No, I haven't. So 1-0 Newcastle. So let's Brentford Tottenham. Always a tough game for Tottenham. Tottenham never seem to get a win when they go down there because the Brentford are a very difficult opponent to beat at home. But let's talk about the Tottenham manager. I just think he needs time. I think that I like what I'm seeing at the moment because not a lot of people are talking about him. Normally, when you manage a Premier League top team, the pressure is just in your face, and the demand for the title challenge, top four, and all this stuff is just raging. But Spurs fans ain't talking, and the fans around the league ain't talking. And I think that works wonders for this manager here, who I think believes that he is going to get the time and get the players that suits his system. Inverted fullbacks, centre halves who are really mobile and good passers. Players that are comfortable in one-on-one situations. It's going to take him a bit of time to stamp his authority on there. So, look, I'm not saying Spurs are going to finish in a European place or anything. I'm just saying that I like the low volume of talk from Spurs fans and fans around the Premier League because they're not talking about this guy at all. He's flying under the radar, and I think that that's going to really suit him out here. I still don't think they're going to get a result here. I think it's going to be a draw, but it's going to be a hard-earned one as well. Neil.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to go for a Spurs win, and I personally think that they're playing now. Kane is not there. Everyone's going to step up because they've got a lot to prove now. They have a lot to prove, and I think that they'll scrape it 2-0.
The shackles are off, Andy. Andy, where are you going with this one?
Well, my view is Levy spent the Kane money on Maddison and Richarlison last year. All right. And I think that those two are basically Kane's replacement. Maddison for the creativity and Richarlison has been bought as a centre forward. Now, individually, they're not as good as Kane, but the hope is that together they will be. And Richarlison will hopefully revel in newfound responsibility as our number 9. I think Son will come back, and I think we're going to see a good season from Sonny as well. I think it's going to take time for Postecoglou to get his methods across fully to the team. But all the Spurs fans love what they've seen so far in pre-season. Even though we haven't won or we haven't had a great pre-season in terms of results, the performances have actually been really good. And that's what really matters in pre-season is how you're actually playing. We seem to be starting games very well and then fading because he plays a very intense press, Postecoglou, very high up. And we still need to sort things out defensively. So I think we might see a lot of games where maybe we take the lead and then end up petering out and drawing or losing early days. But I think that will start to build. And I think as he gets his methods across, we'll get stronger as the season goes on. So anyway, I am hoping, because I think we could really use it, that we somehow get over the line on Sunday and get a victory on the board, because I think that will really help the morale of the club post Kane to get a victory on the board and say, look, we can win football matches without Harry Kane. And I think he'll be impressing that upon them to say, look, let's get a bit of good mood music. Because if we were to lose on Sunday, then we've got Man United next Saturday, then, you know, you could start having a bad season, then everyone, the mood around the place is going to be shocking. So I think,
didn't they start 0-3 last season, or am I getting that confused with someone else?
do what? Sorry,
Didn't you lose the first 3 games last season, or am I thinking about someone else?
no. I
Oh,
don't think
okay, yeah. Because I remember we did it the year before, and then the Rolls and Spurs were top of the league, and we were
no,
bottom.
because last season when we came to yours for the North London derby, we were unbeaten. We won.
Oh, yeah, yes, I remember. Yes, I remember.
You inflicted our first defeat of the season on us in October.
Yeah, I remember. Drew.
I hate to say it, Andy. I think Brentford win, but I do have a lot. I think Brentford in the opening week is worse for Tottenham than United would have been in the opening week. I think it's a lot easier to get yourselves up and have a bounce back against someone like United than what it is Brentford. And I think Tottenham are going to come undone against them.
Yeah, I remember when they went up to Old Trafford without Ivan Toney and beat them 4-0. I was just like, this team can really play without Ivan Toney. What about you, Dave? Where's your heart and soul on this one?
I'm going to go draw. I just don't. I think Tottenham will play well, but I think to Andy's point with Ange's system, like I've done a little bit of research on his system, and he presses so high, and he's got such a high intensity. Plus, Kane's been playing through pre-season as well, hasn't he? So that's another thing that he hasn't really gone in with a team that he's going to start with. I think draw.
So here we go to game of the week, and I, as knowledgeable as I am, I'm not going to try and be smart with this game, because I've got to be honest, I have no idea where these teams are. Chelsea's the dark horse. Liverpool, I think they've had a brilliant transfer window, and I think that they've got a spine in the midfield now, and I'm expecting a lot out of them, but it could go either way. I'm going to play it safe on this one and go for a draw, but I'm going to leave it to the experts, including the Chelsea and the Liverpool fans. So, Neil, where are you on this one?
I think this will be the game of the weekend. I agree. We've done okay at the moment in the transfer league. We're still missing a player, but then missing a midfielder. But then Chelsea are also rebuilding, as we know, their midfield as well. I can see us nicking it. It's going to be a close game, and I see us doing 1-0.
Ooh,
it's going to be a close game, though. It'll be a close game.
I
think that we've got more of a finished product than Chelsea has.
Yeah, hey, and listen, Dave. Remember when I said to you, Dave, I've never met a Chelsea fan that can tell me their first 11. Can you name the first 11? Is that
can I name the first 11? What's predicted? I mean, I think I could. It just depends on. I mean, Well, yeah, I think I could. What we probably should go with. Mm-hmm. However, I think this might have I think this has a draw written all over it. Okay. I think Liverpool have, if they can come out the blocks quite quickly, I think they could cause us a lot of problems. I don't think we're going to be, even though we're at home, I think we're going to come strong into like the back end of the season. I think we win this game. I don't like it for us. It's such a tough game to start with. We have been playing well through pre-season, but I just don't like this game. I'm going to go draw.
It's a horrible game for a first game of the season, isn't it? I mean, It's like I just couldn't imagine Arsenal playing Spurs or Man United or Man City on the first game of the season.
Because you expect to warm up, innit? You expect to come to the warm up game before you get a big team. Yeah?
You want to get a promoted club or someone like at the lower.
We
table
all can't
to
be
just
Man
ease your-
City. We all can't and get the.
Do you know what?
nice
It was,
days
the
or
draw
the
was
not-
actually done. The draw was actually arranged by City. If you ask me, they
Look, right,
arranged it.
when you keep
Yeah.
when you're so good at winning, you get to make your rules.
And Champions League
Unbelievable.
draws as well. They love a good Champions League draw. You know, it's just. But yeah,
I mean, Andy, where are you sitting on this one? It's a tough one, Andy.
There's a lot. There is a tough one because you've got a lot of outs and a lot of ins in both clubs. I mean, Liverpool have literally got rid of their entire midfield, and although they've brought in McAllister and Szoboszlai, which I think are two very good signings, obviously if they got Cressida over the line, then I think Liverpool would have a very strong midfield. Because they've also got the likes of Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott. I expect
Don't
them
say
to
Curtis
have-
Jones. Don't say Curtis Jones. Don't say Curtis Jones.
I think they'll have more game time this season. But what I think about Liverpool is they've got some frightening firepower. I think Núñez is ready to explode this season. If they can get the delivery to him, he impressed me last year, but he just couldn't quite get on a scoring streak. If he starts off this season,
I think he will do well if Salah is less greedy, and helps with more assists. I think Núñez will do really well. But
I think that depends who they play as the third forward as well. If they persist with Jota, it's not going to work.
I mean, you've got a lot of strike power there. But I still think Liverpool are a bit light in midfield, letting Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, Keita, they've all gone. And they still need to bring in another one or two in midfield. So I think Chelsea need to as well. So I think on balance, just because of the firepower, I think I'd edge in towards Liverpool nicking it. But most of the games between Chelsea and Liverpool end up as draws, so that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest either.
What about you, Drew?
I will go for a Liverpool win.
Okay. What about you, Drew?
I would go for a score draw, but I don't see who's finishing off chances for Chelsea.
That's a tough one.
So, I mean, Liverpool have probably got 3 players who could end up on the score sheet multiple times. I don't see anyone really from Chelsea who's a proper goal threat up front.
I haven't been watching us through pre-season, then, my friend. Have you?
Ooh,
It's pre-season, though.
No. Please do tell, Dave.
No, I like Jackson. I think he's looked sharp. He's looked good. He's if you've been following us through pre-season, he looks like a player. He looks like one of those low-key signings that is one of those. Put it this way, he's the only player that I've got in my fantasy team from Chelsea.
Wow, Nicholas Jackson. Okay, I might go and tinker around with my team because I
genuinely hope you're right, because without Nkunku, if he doesn't fire, Chelsea are in trouble for goals.
We was in trouble for goals last season anyway.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You can always bring Lukaku back.
Nah.
Well, he's there now. So.
He hasn't left.
He hasn't left.
You can't bring somebody back who hasn't left, yeah?
Yeah, he's there now.
You can work him back into the first team. It'd be fine.
No, he can. You fancy paying us a bit of money for him?
do you know what? I think I would rather get Richard Edghill out of retirement and get him back. So
tonight, apparently.
Yeah.
So, guys, that's a lot. Leads us on to the last game of the week before we close the stream down. And I just want to say this is an easy one for me. So United win, but I just want to ask you guys, what on earth did the Wolves manager do to get sacked? I don't get it. It just doesn't.
I'm still trying to work that one out myself. I just don't get it.
He wanted out, didn't he? He wanted out because he wasn't
I'm not surprised, Andy. They sold all of his players.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Neves, Moutinho, the Traore.
Well, Troy went
I
on
mean,
a free, didn't he? So
but I mean, I'm just saying they're all gone, and they're not brought anyone. They're not brought anyone in.
It's
I
just
think
a travesty.
Wolves are in for a tough season.
Mm.
Yeah, is there anyone here that thinks Wolves going to win or draw this game?
Oh, this
No.
game, no.
Yeah.
They might win a game this season.
Wolves. I tabled Wolves down for one of the teams that are actually going to go down this season.
Yeah, it's shocking. Absolutely shocking. They had all them players. I mean, is Neto still at the club? They still have Neto, right?
They've got some decent forwards, but they're also injury prone, so they don't always turn out every week.
Yeah,
Guedes is decent.
Guedes, Podence, but you don't always see them turn out every week. So I don't know, but I think they're light in midfield. Without Neves and Moutinho, they're light in midfield. They've got a half decent defence.
Yeah. So, guys, listen, that's it from us tonight, guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat who was joining us today, and thank you, guys, for week one. Really, really good insight from all of you lot. Just going around before we leave, just going around the table just to see what do you really want to see this week. Neil, what would make your weekend?
United losing to Wolves.
Oh wow, that would upset a lot of people.
That would make my weekend. It's not going to happen, but that would make my weekend, irrespective of what happens with Chelsea, Liverpool. If United lose against Wolves, I'd be so happy because there are so many people in the woodwork that keep coming out every time United wins something. Sorry?
It says something that you haven't put your own team winning ahead of your rivals losing.
Because I hate United more than I love Liverpool.
Because that's rivalry, man. That's rivalry. So for me, what I would want to see this weekend is Havertz getting man of the match. That's what I would love to see. A lot of Chelsea fans, a lot of Arsenal fans are just giving this guy so much stick. And I would love for him to come out and just put a marker down and just shut everybody up.
You need to see him do that against Chelsea. That's what you need to see him do.
We do, but I mean, I'd rather him do it in front of the home fans in the first game of the season. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I would prefer him on the bench and Nketiah because I'm a big Nketiah fan. So I'd rather Eddie start. But I'd like to see Havertz come in and get man of the match tomorrow. That would make my day. What about you, Drew? It's hard to say what would make your weekend because I think what would make your weekend is if you and the wife had a nice day out tomorrow.
The thing, we've gone and Dick Burnley on the weekend of my fucking wedding anniversary, so it started really well this weekend.
God.
No, do you know what? Hometown, I'd like to see Luton win. Ain't gonna happen, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah. And what about you, Andy? What would make your weekend? I think that's a no-brainer for you, Andy.
Firstly, Richarlison to stay on his feet. Secondly, Richarlison to score, and thirdly, a Spurs win.
Yeah, there we go.
Why do you ask for the most ridiculous things, Andy?
A lot of it is down to Richarlison now. He's got to step up and show that he is the man now. He keeps talking about it. He's got to start proving it because otherwise he might find himself out of the team. So
talk the talk, walk the walk.
That's it. Richarlison, Maddison to create, and Richarlison to step up and put the ball in the onion bag. That's what we need now.
What about you, Dave? What would make your weekend?
Obviously a Chelsea win, but it would be nice if I've just talked about Jackson. It'd be good if Mudryk played a part in a goal just to kind of get people off his back a little bit, because I think he's copped a bit of it from fans, just little fans in general, and also Sterling as well has copped a little bit, recently. So I think if front three could connect, maybe like a Mudryk, Jackson, Sterling, whether people come off the bench or whatever, that'll be nice, and obviously a Chelsea win.
Yeah, I can't say nothing about Sterling because he's married to my cousin Paige. So
No.
he's not directly my cousin, but he's my cousin. So by marriage. So I can't say anything. I've never said anything bad about him on the channel, and I never will. So I'm going to leave him alone. But yes, Jackson, to me, they want them to be their Tammy Abrahams. So and he's got a good chance of making that happen. So look, I'm just excited. Football's back. I mean, I got an early game tomorrow. It's 11:30. I'm going to go and get some sleep now. Wake up in the morning, and I've got a full early day at the Emirates for a lunchtime game. And it's good. Football's back, guys. Football's back.
Yes.
Right, guys. So we'll see you guys next week, Friday. It was great having you. It's always great having you, Dave. You should. I wish you came more often because we do love you here.
Can I boo Dave just one more time? Boo.
I'll see what I can do. It's manic. It's manic to get on. So yeah, I'll try.
Excellent. Guys, everyone have a great footballing weekend. Thanks to everybody and the panelists. And listen, peace out, guys. Have a great weekend.